And that was tough because I immediately felt like more responsible. That moment was definitely a pivotal one in my life. It pushed me into focus. That was the first time I realized like being black is in no way, shape, or form monolithic. HBCUs reinforce the importance of village. I feel like I'm inspired by those who came before me and those who are going to come after me. I have a little bit of a mantra, it's get on, put on. The storytelling world, it's like there's the block on one side and then there's the boardroom on the other side. Don't think you need to have like all of the tools. Just start that shit, just try it, man.
Yeah. So like talk to me about that, that start in Philly, the foundation and, how that's kind of, got you started.
Philly. I'm from Southwest Philadelphia, born and raised, 55th Street specifically. Yeah. I'm the oldest of four too. When I was 16, I was going to engineering and science, George Washington Carver, E&S. And my parents split. And that was tough because I immediately felt like more responsible than anybody was asking me to feel, quite frankly. It's not like my dad disappeared, he was still around, but I definitely felt like the man of the house. It pushed me, that moment was definitely a pivotal one in my life. It pushed me into focus, like lock in and get the job done. Like you can have fun, you can be cool or whatever, but you got to get the job done. Yeah. And that's always kind of been my thing. Right. And then for my three younger siblings, it's always too like set the pace. Yeah. Right. Absolutely. Open the door, hold the door open for the gang. Yeah. And I just take that philosophy with me today. Yeah. So I keep that around.
Yeah. And you decided to go to Lincoln, of all places. Shout out to Dell State, the best HBCU. All right, let's get it right.
Yeah. Let's get into it. So, look, I gotta say, like, when I was a junior, I went on this HBCU tour. We went to Florida A&M around homecoming. And bro, as a 17-year-old in Tallahassee, watching all of those Rattlers do their thing, it was like Wakanda. And I was like, I must experience this. And so I thought for a really long time I was going to Florida A&M. And they accepted the boy. And they gave me a little bit of money. But then my dad made me apply to Lincoln. And I didn't know too much about it. When we went, the university was under construction. It was mud everywhere. It barely had like a student union building. Yeah. So I applied begrudgingly. And then they gave me a full scholarship. Yeah. And my mom was like, you're going to Lincoln. And I was like, oh, man. So it ended up being one of the best decisions I've ever made. And no Lincoln, I don't know my wife. No Lincoln, I don't know Tatiana, who you met a few. I don't know the people that I know.
So when you talk about it being like the best experience, like what exactly like made
So friends, lifetime friends. I went there with some high school colleagues and friends. But the network that you create when you go to a school like that, it's just like coming of age type network. These are some of my best friends on the planet now. And if not for them, who knows where I'd be at. Right. Honestly, I probably have an idea about where I would be. Like we say, growing up in Philly, right? If you don't have a window to like get out of there and get some new vibes, right? Then it could get dark for you quickly, So OU definitely game changer for me.
That's the beauty about HBCUs, like the people that you meet, like everybody that I met at Dell State has been like so instrumental, like and just, being here, having that connection with Amir has been crazy. Even like when I was coming out of Dell State and I was going to grad school, get into the workforce. People was like, "Oh, you went to a HBCU? Like that don't prepare you for the real world." Like, what is your perspective on that? Because
that couldn't be more false, yo. Like, I think the first thing is like going to the HBCU. That was the first time I realized, like, being black is in no way, shape, or form monolithic, right? There were a bunch of different types of black people, right? And for me, that was like invigorating. It was so dope to be able to spend some time with my gang from the crib, right? Meet some new people from like the tri-state area, people from different continents, from all over the world, but they all look like me, and spiritually, we come from like a really similar place. Yeah, like the backstories always have like a common denominator or some underlying theme that's tying us all together. Yeah. And HBCUs reinforce the importance of village, and connection, and like how important it is to have a team that's going to have your back. Right. Man, and that shit, like you really can't accomplish anything on the face of the earth by yourself.
Yeah.
And so HBCUs, there's a different level of emotional investment. There's a different level of support. And there's also a different level of exposure. You get to experience different types of cultures without feeling like a complete foreigner. And that's like everything.
So like who has been like kind of your inspiration when you think about the legacy of, you know, you and your family?
Man, that's a fire question too. I feel like I'm inspired by those who came before me and those who are going to come after me as well, like equally. For me, I live by like a mantra. I have a little bit of a mantra. It's get on, put on. And it comes from like being the oldest of four. I feel a responsibility, an obligation to do that in my day to day. And so when you ask about inspiration, like who inspires me, it's people like Amir.
Yeah.
You know, it's people like Janelle Wallace, who I work with, like Netta Dobbins, who I've worked with in New York City. I don't like, I'll start naming names. I'm gonna forget somebody and hate that. I hate that I did that. But like honestly, it's them because they forced me to see the world a new way. Right. But then also like people whose shoulders I stand on as I like wake up every morning and do my thing.
Right. Yeah. And get on, put on. Is that a part of?
That is my shit.
Is that 14th and Market?
It's like, my favorite. Oh yes, this is my favorite song right here. So 14th and Market, you know this. There's no 14th Street in Philadelphia. Yeah. It's literally Broad Street. And because you're from the crib, we basically talking to the audience now, but like Broad and Market, it marks the center of the city. Yeah. So Broad Street, north-south, Market Street, east-west. And Philadelphia is such an interesting place, man, because like, come on, this is like a creative treasure trove. Like, I mean, Philadelphia International Records used to be there, Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff. There was a point in time where the Jackson 5 called Philadelphia home. Like, they were signed to that label and were recording out of that studio. Patti LaBelle, Will Smith. I'm just saying all of this to say, the arts that come, the creativity that comes out of that city is bar none. Yeah. Like, even if you think about like Benjamin Franklin Parkway, we might take it for granted because this is home. Like, if you just think about the value of that block, there are like $1 billion art collections on this block in Philadelphia. Right. Like, you think about Philadelphia Art Museum, the Barnes Foundation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But in actuality, it's like, man, this is like Louvre level shit. This is Tate Modern level, MoMA, Met level shit right here in the crib. But on the flip side of that, though, there's the grit of Philadelphia. Like, if you make it out of that place, you can pretty much hold your own anywhere. Right. I think that's why what we appreciate about Portland is sometimes it feels like a breeze. Like, what is a challenge in the city of Portland? Because we've been through like craziness in Philly. Right. And that whole like dichotomy is nuts when you think about it. So like, when I'm thinking about that, I'm thinking about glam on one side and grit on another side. Yeah. And then when I think about that in my world, the storytelling world, it's like there's the block on one side, amazing ideas always, and then there's the boardroom on the other side, the things that make those ideas come to life. So 14th and Market represents like the intersection of the block and the boardroom. Yeah. And if we can, like, those are where the best ideas live. People who excel in the world have this balance. Like, they've got a grip on this balance. They understand the language and the code of the block, but they also understand how to translate that for the boardroom so that you can kind of it takes both sides to make history that way. Yeah. Some of my cultural heroes, Jay-Z, represents this. Yeah. And so 14th and Market is supposed to be a beacon for that. We believe in that with our people, our process, the projects that we work on, the stories that we tell. We manage talent. We develop intellectual property. You know, we do some consulting, research, etc. Developed a merch line, a series of merch lines. It's just like, we want to see ideas come to life. We want to help the block excel in the boardroom, and we know the boardroom needs the block to thrive as well. Right. And so when I think about get on, put on, it takes somebody getting into the boardroom and convincing that room that the block has probably more game that exists in this boardroom. Right. And so when I say get on, put on, that's what we mean.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we're talking about. Right. And I like to surround myself with talent that pretty much understands that concept. Whether they had that exact language or not, they're kind of living that creed and that conviction out. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, listen, you out here dropping some keys.
I'm trying, man. Yeah. Right? It's the rose. It's
the rose. Mm-hmm. But bro, how do you even get to that perspective and mindset? Because you said like there's a small gap, you know, growing up in Philly, you know, where you feel like you have to get out. So
sometimes, most of the time, man.
Yeah. So like, how do you? Because you know, a lot of people in Philly feel like, you know, they are just, you know, stuck in a box, or you know, stuck to one like, you know, perspective.
Yeah.
I work a lot with student athletes. A lot of black men feel like they have to be professional athletes to be successful.
That's right.
So how do you? Or how have you kind of, you know, broken out, you know, of that box and, you know, got into your creative space and your mindset?
Yo, that's a great question. This is where I go back to like my upbringing. My mom did a really good job of exposing us super early. Like she made sure, like, I mean, I was into sports and obviously I was into music, but she made sure that we knew that that wasn't the only way. She's an educator too. Yeah. So like, you would appreciate, like she's late now. She passed away 2 years ago now, but you would have, appreciate it. If you let my sisters tell it, she's still very much around and bossing us around. But you would appreciate her perspective in this and that, like, you don't know what you don't know. So, like, if you only believe there are 2 or 3 avenues out of a situation, no matter your situation, you're kind of like handicapping your potential. And so for her, it was about like making sure we were exposed and we had the vision. Like we knew what our options were. Right. If you know what your options are, you're more equipped to make a decision, you know? Like, I think for me, it wasn't, I studied people like Steve Stout, you know, and the businessman of that Jay-Z was, Sean Carter, the businessman. Yeah. I was never wanting to be on stage or be the showman, right? But understanding like how those levers were pulled and how the business works, that was really cool. And I thought that was super influential role. Yeah. Also, that role could be attained. When you look at their stories, I'm like, damn, they're not like me.
Right, exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
And so I would say that's how I got out of that. When I say just being like open to like other things, which is why I love when like we talk about avenues that we don't often talk about. Like I love what Rich Paul is doing.
Yeah.
And what he represents for like an alternative role in the world of sports, universal sports. Yeah. Like advertising is another one. Like, I mean, I'm a global executive creative director of a independent, world-renowned agency. And my 13-year-old version, the 13-year-old version of myself didn't know that role was something that I could have. Yeah. But I need some 13-year-old out there that's in Southwest Philly or in Chicago or in Atlanta or in LA or something. I need them to be able to see themselves in me today. Yeah. You know? Right. And if we can achieve that, then we fucking rolling. Yeah. Like, you know, like people, you know, I think, you know, that's just super important to me. Like it's not about like the press or like the interviews or whatever. This and this I love because it's you and I. But like doing this, you're doing mad jobs. Like some kid is gonna see this, and I hope this changes some kids' purview on life. Right. And I want them to be able to say like, "Yo, I was watching this interview way back when or whatever, and right. I thought that was cool." And now I thought maybe I could only be a rapper, or maybe I could only be a basketball player or football player or some shit, right. But he said something about advertising. I'm gonna Google that. Right. I'm gonna get into that. You know, that's the vibe. That's what I'm trying to give off. Right. You know. Yeah.
So just thinking about that, like, what advice would you give to your younger self, or you know, the next generation coming up? Like, how can they get there? Is it as simple as just seeing it themselves, you know, in this position, or like, is it something else? So like, what you know, how would you
seeing it is just part of it, but also trying it too and not being afraid. Like. Don't think you need to have like all of the tools. You don't have to have all of the answers. Nobody starts off with all of the answers. Yeah. Just start that shit. Just try it, man. Yeah. That's how like, you know, like Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball player of all time, in my opinion. He didn't start playing basketball amazingly. I mean, like he worked to that. Right. You know? Yeah. Jay-Z worked to being an amazing rapper, you know?
Right.
You just gotta try the shit, man. Don't be intimidated by like what you see happening around you. We live in a world where you're getting all of these stories every day. You open your phone and it's like, oh, here's somebody's new success. Here's an award that somebody won. Here's a highlight reel from someone. Every day is prom on this, in the world that we live in. Every day is prom.
Yeah.
And so like everybody's glammed up and showing the best versions of themselves every day. And they try to sometimes skip over a lot of times, like when they fell on their face. You're going to fall on your face.
Right.
Just put some fucking shots up.
Yeah.
You know? So my advice would be just try it, man. You could be amazing at it, but you'll never know if you never put that shot up.
Right.
Don't be intimidated by anything, external factors or influences, or even the voice that you hear in your head that could be hating on you sometimes. Fuck that voice. Just get outside and put some shots up.
Right. Yeah. But I appreciate your time, bro.
Hey,
Seriously.
bro, no, thank you, man. I appreciate you. I love what you're building, man. Don't stop, bro. Like, you got to keep going. Keep your foot on the gas and shit. And it's a nice job. You just sit around and drink wine and talk.
Listen, that's what we do.
An amazing gig. I want that gig. This is an amazing gig. If you want to do another episode, I'm in.
You already know we coming with part
this
two.
is amazing, bro. Thank you so much. Yeah. Hey, I appreciate you. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, brother.
Thank you.
Why Black.
Thank you. Why Black.